The COVID-19 pandemic brought the world to a standstill. Economies across the globe face unprecedented challenges as lockdowns shut business, supply chains were disrupted, and consumer spending plummeted. Government responded swiftly with measures like stimulus package, wage subsidies, and interest rate cuts to cushion the economic blow. This step aimed to keep business afloat and protect millions of jobs during a time of crisis. This story is one resilience and adaptation. Comparing the economic condition during the pandemic with the post-COVID recovery reveal how nations are overcoming challenges like inflation, supply chain disruption, and shifting global dynamic. Let's explore the journey of recovery together.
In this video, we aim to understand the economic impact of COVID-19 and how economies have worked to recovery since we delve into the key challenges faced during the pandemic, like GDP decline, rising unemployment, and supply chain disruption. This issue give us a clear picture of the scale of the economic struggle during that time. We also explored the recovery pace, focusing on how government and industry adapted to bounce back. By comparing the economic condition during and after the pandemic, we can highlight the lesson learned and consider how this can help us build more resilient economy for the future.
Malaysia economic condition during COVID-19. Today, I will talk about how Malaysia economic has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. I will discuss three main areas, which is GDP, unemployment, and the impact on key sectors. Let's begin with GDP, a key measure of economic health. The Malaysia economic shrank by 5.6% in 2020, the worst since the Asian financial crisis in 1998. This was caused by strict lockdowns, reduced customer activity, and global uncertainty. GDP fell sharply by 17.1% in the second quarter of 2020, although it recovered in subsequent quarters. Not only that, exports, an important component of Malaysia's economy, also declined due to falling global demand. Next, let's look at the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate rose from 3.3% in 2019 to 4.5% in 2020, the highest level in more than 30 years. More than 750,000 people lost their job, with youth, women, and informal workers being the hardest hit. Some even left the labor force of frustration, leading to slight decline in the labor force participation rate.
Government initiatives during COVID-19. During the pandemic, all countries faced difficulties in economic sectors, especially our country, as a small country in the economic sector. So the government has had to implement various initiatives in order to sustain this sector so that it does not worsen. For economic stimulus, there are a lot of packages. Number 1, Prihatin Economic Stimulus Package. A total of 250 billion has been spent throughout these initiatives. It was the largest amount in Malaysian history. In this package, the governments provide direct cash assistance, which subsidy program, and SME support. Talk about direct cash assistance, which is Bantuan Prihatin Nasional (BPN). Governments provided cash aid to low and a middle income household. It also includes special financial support for vulnerable groups like senior citizens and students. Number 2, employers also receive subsidies to retain employees, and it cost layoff can be minimized. It has benefited millions of workers. SME support stands for interest-free loans and grants for small and medium enterprises to maintain operations. The government also created Penjana Economic Plan, which has cost 35 billion ringgit and focused on economic recovery through these pillars. Firstly, empowering people. This initiative is hiring incentive and skills training program to boost employment.
Welcome to the discussion about Malaysia's economic condition after COVID. This video will highlight important measures for recovery, the trends in unemployment, and industry that have demonstrated reliance as well as growth. It will be a reflection on how Malaysia managed the challenge posed by the pandemic subsequent to its onset and the beneficial trends established over the last few years. Let's start with GDP recovery. The Malaysian economy plunged significantly during the pandemic but recovered quite well in recent years. For example, Malaysia's GDP grew by 7.6% in 2022, primarily driven by vigorous domestic demand and a rebound in the service sector. Bank Negara Malaysia report that this growth was the highest recorded in the Asian region. This recovery demonstrates a robust bounce back from the economic effect of the pandemic. Next, let's consider the trends in unemployment. Unemployment surged during the pandemic period into the double-digit figures, but later began to decline as the economy reopened and businesses started to operate again. In Malaysia, the unemployment rate was 3.86% in 2023 compared to 4.64% in 2021 and much lower than the pre-pandemic rate of approximately 3.2% recorded in 2019. According to Bank Negara Malaysia, this recovery has primarily been governed by the fiscal stimulus measures and monetary policy action by the government. Some sectors have proven resilient and continue to grow following the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the most prominent is e-commerce. The shift towards online shopping, which gained significant momentum during the pandemic, has continued unabated. According to the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), Malaysia e-commerce sector has grown extensively, driven by improved internet penetration and widespread digital adoption across the country. Another resilient sector is construction. After the initial wave of the pandemic, the construction industry began to show a strong recovery, particularly in 2021. The Malaysian Investment Development Authority (MIDA) highlight that the sector robust rebound has been fueled by government infrastructure projects and increased housing development. In conclusion, Malaysia's economy has shown remarkable resilience and recovery post-COVID. GDP growth rates has rebounded, unemployment rates have improved and approaching pre-pandemic levels, and certain sectors have thrived. While challenges remain, these positive trends indicate a strong recovery and a promising outlook for the future.
The next is economic situation post-COVID. The first one is recovery indicators. Based on the data, in 2022, GDP has increased by 8.7%. This is to show that positive improvement as it rebounded after our country experienced an economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. This growth driven by a combination of factors such as improvements in exports, domestic spending, and service sectors. This performance also far exceeds the economic growth in 2021, which is 3.1%. The next is unemployment rate. As we can see, Malaysia's economy was having a stable performance before the pandemic COVID-19 with a 3.26% unemployment rate. This is reflected in that we are steady at a low level and reflect healthy economic growth. However, due to the pandemic, in the 2021, unemployment rate increasing around 4.2% due to Movement Control Order (MCO) and COVID-19 resurgence in the first half of the year. By the end of the year 2022, unemployment rate dropped to 3.6%. This was 0.6% decrease from the 2021. Resilient factors have played a crucial role in driving the post-pandemic economic recovery. For example, financial services and fintech. The financial services sector also adapted quickly, with fintech companies playing a key role in offering digital banking and peer-to-peer services. Many people turned to digital wallets and online banking during the pandemic, which continue to grow post-pandemic. The second one is e-commerce and digital services. E-commerce and digital services appear in rising its profits and contributing to the GDP growth of Malaysia. Online retail saw strong growth with more consumers using shopping online across various categories from grocery to electronics. Digital platforms such as Lazada, Shopee, Foodpanda and Grab contributing in Malaysia's economic growth. The survey defines that the percentage of e-commerce consumers in Malaysia for 2022 stood at 78.3%.
Before pandemic COVID-19, Malaysia's economy was strong with a GDP growth of 4.3% and with the unemployment rate being 3.3%. But when the pandemic hit, the economy had contracted by 5.6% with a sharp drop. Also, unemployment climbed to 4.6%, with young people hit particularly hard as their unemployment rate reached 12.7%. Fast forward to 2023, Malaysia has shown impressive resilience. GDP growth is back on the track. Unemployment has returned to pre-pandemic levels, and sectors like manufacturing and tourism are thriving again. This rebound highlights the strength of Malaysia's economic foundation, even in the face of global challenge. The government's implemented various initiatives to accelerate the growth and recovery of the Malaysian economy. The initiatives include the 305 billion economic stimulus package, namely the Prihatin Economic Stimulus Package, Prihatin SME Plus, Penjana and Kita Prihatin, such as wage subsidies and cash assistance for low-income households that was lifelines for many people. Also, the small business that got benefits and programs like the employment insurance system help the job seekers. The initiatives have helped our economic recovery. Despite the success, there were gaps. Many in the informal sector and smaller business struggle to access support. Also, women and young workers face the challenge with fewer job opportunities and slower recoveries. So, future policy should focus more on these groups and strengthen Malaysian economy to build a more inclusive and resilient future.
Our
be sharing insight into Malaysian economic prospect, focusing on the country recovery trend and the important role of government initiative. After facing significant challenge in recent year, particularly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Malaysia is now on a strong recovery pace. The government has introduced various policies to ensure sustainability growth, and we are already seeing the positive effect of this effort. Since 2021, key sectors such as tourism, manufacturing and services have shown signs of recovery, contributing to a more stable and competitive economy. Improvement in the labour market indicate that more people are getting back to work, which is a positive sign for economic growth. The government has also focused on attracting both domestic and international investment, improving infrastructure and enhancing public facility. As a result, Malaysia has seen notable economic growth, with the GDP projected to grow at 4% in 2023 and between 4 to 5% in 2024. Domestic demand is strong, supported by higher consumption and investment, as well as favorable labour market conditions to reduce inflation. Looking ahead, Malaysia is increasingly integrating into the global digital economy.
Therefore, we are of the view that growth this year is still firm, and we are comfortable to expect the growth that is closer to the upper end of our forecast range of between 4 to 5%. And of course, this is subject to the upside risk and also downside risk.
Looking ahead, Malaysia is increasingly integrating into the global digital economy. Sectors like fintech, e-commerce and Industry 4.0 are boosting productivity, which will further enhance the country's global competitiveness. While Malaysia is on a steady recovery pace, continued government support in adapting will be crucial in ensuring long-term sustainability. Government support and adaptability in future crises. Combined government support will remain important goal in ensuring Malaysian economy stay resilient. During past crises such as the pandemic, government has aid programs like Penjana and Bantuan Perhati Nasional. It provides crucial financial assistance to business and individuals, preserving wealth and reducing the crisis impact. Moving forward, the government must continue to adapt to unexpected challenges, whether technological shift or climate change. In conclusion, Malaysia is on the right path toward a robust economy recovery, and government initiative will continue to play a pivotal role in navigating future challenges. With ongoing support and adaptability, Malaysia is well positioned for long-term growth and global competitiveness.
To sum up, the COVID-19 pandemic severely impacted Malaysia's economy, causing a 5.6% GDP contraction in 2020 and raising unemployment to 5.3%. In response, the government introduced targeted stimulus measure. The Prihatin package on March 2020 provided immediate relief through cash aid, wage subsidies and a 6-month loan moratorium. As recovery began, the Penjana plan focused on job retention, SME support and digital innovation. By early 2021, the PERMA initiative extended financial aid to vulnerable groups and businesses during later pandemic wave. This measure delivered results. By 2021, GDP grew by 3.1% and unemployment dropped to 4.6%. In 2022, growth accelerated to 8.7%, driven by manufacturing, export and digital transformation. In conclusion, Malaysia's post-pandemic recovery demonstrates the power of strategic government intervention, job creation and economic transformation. While challenges persist, Malaysia's focus on innovation, workforce development and inclusive growth sets a strong foundation for a resilient future. Thank you.